Hello Internet and welcome to another League of Legends patch video on PCGamesN.com's YouTube channel. Ali Jones right there, joined by me, Ben Barrett, the Samsung Galaxy to my SKT. Rest in peace, Faker's tears. We're going to tell you all about patch 7.23, which, now is this going to be the last patch of the year or like the second last patch of the year?
I think second last.
Probably the second last patch of the year. It's got a new hero. It's got Zoe.
We got Zoe.
Everybody loves, because she's adorable.
Ah, she's adorable. Like when Zoe first came out, I think I watched her champion reveal like 5 times in a row. It was just so much fun.
I've got a present for you, hello! And then you're dead.
Just come screaming at Victor.
What's she do?
So her Q and R, like they're not particularly special in and of themselves. Q is quite fun. It's basically just a line skill shot, but you can fire it backwards and then kind of yo-yo it forwards, because the longer it's travelled in a straight line, the more damage it does. And that's pretty cool. Like, there are a lot of things, interesting things you can do with that.
Yeah, you can like throw it behind you and then throw it towards them.
Forwards, you throw it off to the side.
Shed load of damage when you do that.
Yeah, not so much early game. I think she's going to be very much. She looks very much like she'll be quite a late game threat.
Right. Okay.
But it'll involve kind of pinging your Q off to the side, maybe to get it around minions, or firing it behind you and then using it in tandem with all of your other stuff to try and get it as far forward as you possibly can.
Like her ultimate, for example, because that like teleports her about the place. Right?
Yeah, so her ultimate, she kind of blinks forward for a second and then blinks back, and she can't move in that time, but she can attack. So what you can do is ping the Q behind you, ult forwards, and then the recast is cast from Zoe's body. So it doesn't matter where the Q was originally, it goes to a straight line in front of her. So if you jump forward, you ping the Q forward, it's travelled 3 times the length of its normal cast, it does 3 times the damage it would do normally.
Presumably you can't like cast it and then use teleport and then cast it again on the other side of the map.
No, I don't think so.
Some obscene amount.
No, I think it has to be cast within
A, it'll probably have a max, and B, stuff like that. Okay, but her W and her E you think are more interesting?
They're more interesting, they're kind of new skills. So her E we'll start with, because it's easier to explain. So she drop kicks, literally, a bubble across the map, kind of like a Bard E. If it goes through a wall, it goes further. So it can't land in a wall. And if it hits a champion, it makes them drowsy. If it doesn't hit a champion, it just falls on the floor and acts like a trap. And if they pass through it, they become drowsy. And once they become drowsy, after a small delay, they fall asleep for 2 seconds. And then while they're asleep, they get woken up by the first attack, but that first attack does double damage. Up to a max.
Interesting.
So
that's like the most ridiculous thing you can do with that, like a Cho'Gath feast or something?
Probably not. I reckon it would be, because there is a max amount of damage it can do double. So if you ult someone, it's not just going to completely one.
Yeah, if you like Caitlyn ult them or something, like some sort of massive burst damage isn't just going to one shot them. All these fun things I can't do because Riot actually employ game designers.
They try and balance.
What about W?
So her W is the thing that I think has confused the most people so far. Her W is Spell Thief. And if any of you watched Champion Reveal, you've seen her flashing 2 or 3 times in a short space of time. So the way that works is that if she's moving towards an enemy and they use a summoner spell, that summoner spell falls to the floor, and Zoe can pick it up for 40 seconds and use it. So Zoe flashes, her enemy flashes away from her, she picks up the flash, she flashes again. If there's 2 enemies, they flash again. She can also pick up active items. So, and some minions drop active items, so she can just get Proto Belt out of nowhere for free, or Redemption. I think that's the strongest one. So that's like a team-wide heal, potentially. So Zoe can just be
that she can just have stocked up, right? Without ever having spent any gold on it.
Yeah, exactly. So quite how that's going to work is going to be interesting to see. It does make her, like, honestly, a really tricky champion, I think.
She seems way more complicated than, I guess, like Ornn had some. He was a bit weird, but it wasn't really that complicated. It was just you can sort of get these new items and you need to work out how those work. But this is like, okay, when should you use your summoners? Can you use, like, are you going to get this item or that item? Should you be using that at this time or that time? You need to do all your positioning really, really well. She seems like one of those kind of like Yasuo style, just like super high skill. For some people, like Yasuo and Zed, where you just kind of press a shed load of buttons and you do a lot of damage. I
think she's got a really high skill ceiling, but I also don't think really that she is just mash a load of buttons and make something, or mash a load of buttons and make something happen. Like, the number of spells she has available is pretty limited. Like her R is no damage.
Yeah.
Her E you need to be able to follow up on.
It's all like all her damage is in her Q, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And that doesn't go through minions. So her wave clear is pretty minimal because she doesn't have anything like that. And you've got to be able to actually connect that Q. It's pretty small. It does move pretty fast, but it has to go a long way. So I think people will find interesting ways to use her, but I think it's going to take people a while to hit her skill ceiling because I really think she's going to be quite difficult to do.
Yeah, and obviously the balancing around that will take some time as well. Have they already been tweaking her up and down?
I haven't seen much because obviously it doesn't change the main PvE client because she's still in testing, so she's not being kind of tweaked.
Yeah, so we'll see how she does when she launches. I would guess she'll get a bit of buff when she launches, and then they'll leave her alone for a while.
Probably.
And see where she ends up.
Kind of like Ivan and Ornn.
Yeah, exactly. So what else has happened? There hasn't been, because they're adding her, and also like the rune stuff is still processing.
Yeah.
They're not doing a shed load of actual balance changes. Right?
No, so balance changes are pretty small. There's a tiny one to Lux, which we talked about in the office the other day, that was like 0.004 off
Very
something.
Important that we have that right.
There have been a couple of hot fixes. So Ornn and Sona are going through some hot fixes. Sona's finding the new runes pretty nice.
Right, okay, so is that what it was? It was that they didn't do the balancing correct for the runes and they need to hotfix.
Yeah, so I think she's doing reasonably well. Other changes are quite small. The little buff to Talia, little nerf to Yorick. Other than that, balance changes to champions themselves are quite small.
But they're still tweaking the runes, right?
We'll see runes tweak throughout pre-season and probably onwards, to be honest. I think that... So Meddler has been saying there haven't been any ridiculous outliers. There are champions that are strong, but there have always been champions that are strong.
Yeah.
They'll probably get reined in over the course of the next couple of patches. There are champions that will get buffed up over the next couple of patches. Ivan is another one of them.
Yeah.
So he's kind of struggled, as has Nunu.
But in general, it's sort of they're just working this stuff out as they go.
Yeah, pretty much.
And there'll probably be one final patch before the end of the year, and then there'll be another patch. There's like, I think it's like it'll be about 8.3 before LCS actually starts. Is usually how it is.
It's kind of mid to late January. So
yeah, you know, there'll be stuff around that before the kind of real competition kicks off. And also, you know, the new season and that sort of thing. So all of that out of the way, onto the really important thing: new project skins.
New project skins.
The best skin line in League of Legends. Do not at me. Do not leave a comment disagreeing with this. It's true. They're added Vayne, Vi, and Jhin.
Vayne, Vi, and Jhin
Lots
project
of
skins. And yeah, they are cool.
They're so good. Vayne's like splash art is.
Vayne's splash art is amazing. She also rides out of the fountain on a motorbike.
Brilliant.
Which, you know, what else can you do? Jhin also, I really like his splash art. His ultimate looks really cool. You know how it zooms out of the map to give the full view. That looks really good as well in his new project skin. Vi I haven't seen a huge amount of. Still looks nice though. I mean,
Vi's like one of my favourite characters in her normal design, and the project skin line, in case you hadn't guessed, is my favourite design for skins. So I expect I'll quite like how she looks for sure. Zoe has a skin as well.
Zoe has her bundle skins. Cyberpop Zoe, which is pretty fun.
Looks pretty good. Yeah,
I've enjoyed it so far. And then sticking with the project skins as well. So not just are there 3 new project skins, there is a new project game mode, which is Overcharge, which I had to go at last week, I think. It's pretty fun, it's pretty fast paced. It's only for ADCs, so there's kind of 12 ADCs.
That's very project.
It's very project. Well, you know, actually, you'd be expecting like Yi and Yasuo to be running around and causing havoc. It's interesting. Like it's a bit of a, you know, score kills to get points, basically.
Yeah. They've been experimenting with that a lot because they've added like 4 or 5 new game modes over the past year. Like there was the total reboot to Boombots. There was the Star Guardians one. That was like a weird kind of single. Like it was like defending one thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's PvE.
Yeah, exactly. There was the Blood Moon one, which was different, but that was like a lot more like a normal game, but with a lot more killing, basically.
But yeah, this is kind of what Overcharge is. But they're introducing new maps as well, which is pretty fun.
Right, cool.
There's also been the Dark Star one, which was just throw threshes.
Yeah, that was just like a much more of like a mini game.
Yeah, and then there was one more that I can't remember off the top of my
head. They've been doing a lot of that, and it'd be interesting to see. You know, I'm kind of wondering where these ideas are coming from, where they're going, if they're going to like make a kind of some sort of like thing where you play all of them quite often and there's like a reason to do that, or it's just like here's a fun thing, and they'll just keep rotating.
Eventually it would kind of allow for, you know, rotating game mode to just be faster and faster all the time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and maybe to have some sort of like thing where, I mean, maybe you can already, can you pick which one you want to play? Like if I want to play Earth tomorrow, can I just go play Earth?
No, so the way rotating game mode works is that, you know, I think it's every 2 weeks they introduce a new rotating game mode, and mostly it's Doom bots or Ascension and occasionally Earth. they only pop up kind of once every few months, basically, because of the way the rotating game mode system works.
Yeah,
but
so
maybe
we should see them expand that.
Yeah, maybe they'll reach a point where they can just have it constantly rolling.
Particularly as we head into next year, it's sort of expected that Riot will have their second game out. They'll be talking about that. I'm assuming it's going to be a fighting game for various reasons. We should probably do a whole separate video on it.
Yeah, we should probably talk about it.
But yeah, anyway, interesting to see that stuff. So that's 7.23. It's going to be out in about a week. About a week. And then we will get 7.24, and then we'll head into... I would guess what will happen is the 7.24 might be a bit longer, and then we'll head into a dead period, maybe with an 8.0 patch in there somewhere, and then we'll go into next year and we'll start the cycle all over again. And I'm sure there'll be plenty more of balance changes coming your way. Thanks very much for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, do hit like. Please subscribe for more of this and much more to do with League of Legends and every other game you could possibly be interested over on the PC. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.